Lucy was a college student who earned a modest income by taking medicine trials. She had to work several jobs every day. She worked as a waitress in a restaurant, a temp job in charge of printing, but that was not enough to pay for her life and her studies. She could even sell her body. At night, she meets a young girl in a bar and follows her to the middle-aged man. They choose their bad partners for the night with a coin toss. Lucy does the same thing as all the young girls who sell their bodies, but she seems to be used to this life, even though her days are hectic. But she thinks about the high rent, her boyfriend in a hospital bed, and her mother, who is a daily alcoholic. Lucy even had to follow others to get on the subway. One day, Lucy saw an ad in the newspaper for a model. The pay for modeling was several times that of a temporary job. She didn't hesitate to go to the interview. She was greeted by a middle-aged woman. Claire's manner and mannerisms seemed to be noble and decent. Everything about her made Lucy envious. Next, Claire started the interview directly. First, Lucy had to take off her clothes and be examined, but the job was too important to her. Lucy had to do as she was told. At that moment, a male butler came in and kept looking at her body. The criteria for choosing a model was that there should not be any scars or burns. Luckily, Lucy had soft and clear skin, so she passed the interview with flying colors. Lucy has a new name for herself. She went to the beauty salon for skincare. She even waxed her entire body. Lucy started slacking off when she was working as a temp. She would start to familiarize herself with the workflow of modeling at her boyfriend's house. At night, she would get dressed up and take a ride to a suburban house in the car of another strange man. The man who met her told her to take off her clothes. Lucy is dressed in nothing more than a pair of underwear. Then, she goes in front of some elite men in high places. But these were all old men, at least 60 years old. It's the first time Lucy has seen such an extravagant party. The girl working as a special waitress for the first time unzips and takes off her dress, wearing nothing but a pitiful amount of underwear. Next, she was painted with lipstick that matched her skin tone. A group of rich and powerful old men came to the restaurant. Lucy's job is to pour their drinks. She gets paid well for the night. Having lived at the bottom of the social ladder, she had no idea how easy it would be to make money this way. She looked at the pile of money on the table and seemed proud and wanted to burn to see what color the money was. From this point on, she started to neglect her serious part-time job. She never took the bus but a cab when she went out, so Lucy grew to despise the meager wages of her hard part-time job. She became more and more familiar with what waitressing entailed, and the more money Lucy made, the more she could afford to take her boyfriend to rehab. So Lucy spends all her savings to treat her boyfriend, but she also needed a better-paying job. Once again, she takes the butler's car to a suburban house. As soon as Lucy gets out of the car, she sees a woman dragging her tired body along. Lucy has a moment of fear, but she doesn't care anymore. Lucy succumbs to the high salary, but she had to take a shower before she walked in the door. Then Clara made her a bowl of tea. Lucy drinks the tea and simply lies in bed for a few hours. When she wakes up, the side effects of the medicine will make her feel very tired, but it won't do any harm to her body. Next in walks a man. He is what is called the elite upper class. Peter is an old man with a great fortune who is nearing the end of his life. The next day, Lucy doesn't care about what happened last night, only about how much she made. Lucy gradually became more and more familiar with the job. As soon as she fell asleep, many different old men would come to her bed. She wasn't sure what was going on during the time she was lying in bed. Some powerful people thought Lucy was just a beautiful body with a weak soul. And Lucy once again earns more money than she did in 10 years of office work. She moved from a modest cottage to a large, quality apartment. She no longer fears the painful days without money. Instead, she looked down at the view from a high-rise. A girl can get paid $100,000 an hour just for stripping naked and sleeping in bed. Lucy drank the sleeping pills and fell fast asleep, and she's greeted by an old man in his 60s. These old men are rich, powerful, high-class people. They come here to satisfy their perverted needs. Clara promises that what happens in the room will not be known to anyone outside, but he needs to abide by one rule, that is, he can't have sex with Lucy. Other than that, he could do anything to her. After Clara left, the old man couldn't wait to take off his clothes. That day, Lucy went back and suddenly felt very uncomfortable. There were marks of burns on her body for no reason. The more she saw about it, the weirder it got. The next thing was even weirder when she came to her boyfriend's house. Her boyfriend chose to end his life because he couldn't stand the pain and suffering. Lucy was devastated, but life went on. Lucy is now not responsible for her boyfriend's medical bills, so she doesn't have to do the same job as Sleeping Beauty, but she can't help but be curious. Lucy wanted to know what happened after she fell asleep, so she went to a mall and bought a hidden camera. One day she got a job that required her to sleep through the night. She was on her way and suddenly felt sick and even nauseous. She asked Clara to tell her what happened after she fell asleep, but Clara said it was a confidential job. She could not disclose information about her clients. She warned Lucy that doing so would risk blackmail. Lucy had no choice but to take the camera out of her mouth while she was still conscious. Then she got out of bed with an exhausted body and placed the camera a short distance away. The next day dawned. Clara opened the window as usual and tried to wake the old man up, but she found that the old man's body was cold. Realizing that something was wrong, she gave Lucy artificial respiration. Fortunately, Lucy woke up. Lucy woke up and found a naked old man lying next to her. It was then that she realized what she had been doing all these days. Lucy was devastated and could only let out a heartbreaking scream. Although Lucy has chosen to live in self-paralysis for a long time in order to meet the demands of the powerful, but when she realized that instead of improving her living space, she was being violated step by step, her dormant sense of self began to awaken. The moment Lucy decides to stop sleeping is also the moment she decides to make her voice heard.